Hi, my name is Andrew Jonathan Fine. I'm the retired mad scientist, emphasis on all three qualities, who created the manuscript for Alouette's song. I'm here now to tell you some of my life and how it drove me to write this story. I'm 51 years old. I hold degrees in electrical engineering and computer science, but I also attempted a computer science doctorate twice. This gives me the knowledge base needed to use the physics of the story as a plot device, artistic license taken with the science, of course. Before I had to retire, I had a 15-year career as a software designer. The last place I worked for, Honeywell Aerospace, had a massive layoff back in 2005, and I was one of the casualties. I've become a homemaker ever since. I'm a survivor of an abusive upbringing and first marriage. A couple of years later, I met my present wife, Anna, who has made my life, for the most part, heaven on earth. Between us, we have a daughter, Akira, a 10-year-old girl at least as bright as I am, but still all kid, and history has not repeated itself upon her. She's loved by all, and is also loving, and right now is holding the camera for me. The story I wrote is a reboot of one almost a century old, which has now entered the public domain. I figure if people can entertain by rebooting BSG from Battlestar Galactica and Fuzzy Nation from Little Fuzzy, I should have my chance to entertain you. The original story is set in Spokane. Because that city is only 60 miles to the west of me, and have visited it occasionally, I have first-hand knowledge of the area. The residence of one of the heroes, you guessed it, is Pinehurst, Idaho. There's not much of an economic base here, but if you're retired or disabled, or lucky enough to have a job in the town or nearby, this is a wonderful place to live. It's a place to go to where, as one author had put it, to learn to forget all the grief you have ever known. There is nearly no violence or crime to speak of. People are mostly conservative here, and liberals like me are usually listened to with a smile. This is a one-street town, but we have all the amenities. My daughter Akira was getting a little bit tired, so she had to shift position in order to record me some more. To understand why you should help me publish this book, I'd first like to contrast the differences between the original plot and characters with the new. The original featured a multi-talented Ubermensch, the girl of his dreams, his sidekick, and the sidekick's arm candy. They were all in their early to mid-30s. It was a there and back again, where they must help one alien race defeat another, and of course the Ubermensch does all the important work and defeats a powerful villain along the way. It was written during a day when attitudes regarding race, color, and creed were not nearly as developed as they are now. My reboot sees it all through younger eyes, with a plot that is somewhat similar and vastly different in detail. Think of the former as a black and white photograph and mine as in full living color. That's how rich a story I have tried to make. It actually weighs in at 370 pages as I reckon it. The former was only half as long. The Ubermensch is no more. In his place is a 16-year-old Jewish young man, disaffected from his heritage, but who has no significant technical skills, yet has weapons-grade compassion and the luck that goes with it. The girl of his dreams still is, but the only thing they have in common is a fondness for music. She's 19 years old, a rather happy modern Orthodox from Texas, who meets the above young man in a spectacular manner. His sidekick is an 18-year-old engineering freshman, a calm and centered person who likes to tinker in his basement and go bowling. He's Methodist. Oh, by the way, he's gay. Finally, what used to be the weakest character in the story is now easily the strongest, under the right circumstances. She's a deist, having deduced the existence of God by space-time's laws as being far too elegant not to be written. She's 17 years old, a graduate student in the math department. That's right, and also affected by autism of a very rare type. She can hide her condition in plain sight, but that requires all her brains to accomplish, and it's hard work. This latter pair will unite somehow, even if this girl must use temporal paradox to force the outcome. What used to be servants are now teachers, and what used to be a villain is now merely someone our teens are at cross purposes with, who has morally justifiable reasons for opposing them. Finally, instead of making one people of an alien world defeat another people in war, they must instead stop the war and save the world. Some of you in science fiction probably have a good idea of the book I'm rebooting. I'd like to ask you to exercise some patience with me and start with a clean slate. Finally, I will reveal to you the reason I'm writing this. I only found out I had autism a year ago, which explained a great many things about the life I led. I'm actually on disability retirement for different issues. I was told I had a very rare form which not only affects how my intellect works. I was told I had a very rare form which only affects how my intellect works, but does not affect my behavior. I do have a propensity to hyperfocus, but I'm like a lighthouse where an Asperger's would be like a searchlight. I fully embrace the ideals of neurodiversity. My psychiatrist has given me to understand I am one of the most functional autistics in my generation. That power gives me the obligation to use it to oppose with all possible force those marketing or exploiting an image of our condition being pitiable, environmental, iatrogenic, or needing eradication. I'm autistic and I've done remarkable things for those people who gave me the chance to serve or love them. I want others at every place on the spectrum and at all power levels to have their day in the sun, not shunned or discriminated against. My novel is a weapon towards such, and that's why it's on my bucket list. I believe the world is in desperate need of a story whose most powerful character is on the spectrum, a heroine to inspire the generation after mine. I need your help to publish the story and make it come alive. I can't do this alone. I support my family on SSDI, and there's little to spare on such as this. If after publishing it, it does in fact make a pile, I want to dedicate much of the royalties towards scholarships for graduate students on the spectrum. Thank you all, and God bless.